you guys edit where you don't, just because of how I know how you talk.
Right. Exactly. I think we're live. Yep, we're live. What's up? Good morning or good? It's noon, so good afternoon, I guess.
Oh, it's morning. It's 8 a.m.
It's definitely morning for you in Alaska. What an up and down Friday night. Roller coaster of a night for me personally. I started off with a big hit on that Cubs same game parlay. So I started off high. Then the late game started and I got crushed early and went down about 1.6 units. But then I came back from the dead. I won 3 out of 4 bets and came back to about even. All I needed was the Mariners, and it would have been a great. Well, I would have made like 0.8 units. It would have been a great night. Of course, we all know the tragic end to that. Seattle bullpen blow it. Damn, I can't believe I was right about McClanahan too. Like, it's all right. It happens. It happens.
Whatever.
I saw Toast was pissed about that one on Twitter.
It's like, and I was just telling Sausage, there's a difference between betting a public side and being like, you know what, I just can't figure out how to get to Seattle here, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to plug my nose, bet the public side. And if you live to tell the tale, cool. And then there's another side where you bet the game, you don't see any of that. And you're like, yeah, it's just bad for me. It kills me.
People know what it is. All right. So we got a lot to get through. So let's go ahead and start. Padres at Reds. What a disgusting one to start on. Hold on, let me.
How are you talking about? Oh, because you're not invited to the party. That's why. Okay.
I started the party,
but you left early, bro, and you know the rules. Once you leave, you can't come back.
But it's not a. It's so what I did was under 11.5 or pass.
I love the under as well.
Yeah. I wrote down under 11.5 or pass. And I actually put under 11.5 on the ticket, which I didn't post yet because I don't know what I want the top bet to be, but. So I'll post that after in case you were wondering. Anyway, so Michael Wacha's on the mound, and this dude's reign of terror is just continuing. In his last 9 starts, he's 5-1 with a 1.14 ERA, a 1.14 with an 0.81 WHIP. He's been completely dominant. And I made the mistake of fading him a couple starts ago against Cleveland. I claimed, who has he pitched against? And he shut me the hell up quick as hell. Through 6 shutout innings against the Guardians, and he followed that up by going into San Francisco and pitching a good game. Yes, he should have his hands full pitching against this Reds lineup in Cincinnati, but because, I mean, as you probably already know, Cincinnati's been a nightmare for righty starters. That being said, we just saw Seth Lugo pitch a good game there just last night. So I think we can count on Wacha to pitch well here. And then Brandon Williamson's on the mound, and you might be thinking, how could you possibly bet an under with Brandon Williamson on the mound, especially because the Padres have been crushing lefties. On the last 14 days, San Diego's second in WRC plus, 5th in OPS versus lefties, and Brandon Williamson has been struggling. That being said, I don't trust the Padres in any way, shape, or form right now. So the fact that this is all the way up at 11.5. I don't think the Reds are going to score runs. I probably would pick the Padres to win the game, which is why I'm just going under instead.
Yeah, you already know what it is for me. I'm continue to bet the Reds until, especially at these prices. It's not even a question for me. It's the Reds, baby. They keep on winning. It's really that simple for me, guys. I'm going to continue to ride this team. Oh yeah, ding, ding, ding. It's the Reds at home versus a righty. You know what that means. Jake Fraley over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 125 today. So, it's really that simple for me.
The hit rate on that Fraley shit it's getting silly at this point. Like, how do they not? How are the price of that not juiced up?
Sometimes it gets up to like 130, and I'm like, whatever.
It's hitting at like 90%. It's minus 210. Like, what the hell?
I don't think like DraftKings is really worried about getting.
I bet you if you had one of those Twitter accounts with like 100,000 followers, that shit would be juiced.
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
Because you'd be preaching that shit, and there'd be like so many people tailing because it's
That's
really
true.
hitting at an insane rate. All right, let's move to the next one. Yankees at Cardinals. Should I skip it? I'm not betting doubleheader. All right. There's so many. If there was like 5 games on the board, I'd probably force something, but there's so many.
I would, if you, gun to my head, under in Cardinals. Gun to my head, but I don't bet doubleheaders. There's no reason for me to bet doubleheaders, especially on a day like today where there's
right. Usually when there's a doubleheader, it's on a Saturday, it's on a day where there's plenty of other action. You don't normally get a doubleheader on like a Thursday.
I will say for that first game that Rizzo has really good numbers against Flaherty in his career, and in that second game, Arenado has really good numbers against Cole in his career. So if you guys are looking to play props or something like that, there's 2 guys to look at.
In this next one, Boston at Toronto, I'm going to go Toronto team total over 4.5. Or you could go over 9. Personally, I'm just going to bet the Toronto team total over. On paper, this should be a comfortable win for the Blue Jays. Cutter Crawford's been a pretty consistent fade candidate. Boston's just 1-5 in his last 6 starts. He's a righty. I trust the Blue Jays lineup against righties more so than I do against lefties, despite what the recent numbers say. Crawford's made 2 career starts against Toronto, and they hit him up both times, and they won both games. Fully expect Toronto to get to this guy. The reason I'm not just going all in on Toronto is I'm a little scared of Kikuchi. But you would think he's a lefty, and he's been pitching well. He's been really good lately. I think I have his game logs written somewhere. Okay, yeah. So he's pitched pretty much 6 quality starts in a row. It's against Oakland, Miami, Baltimore, Minnesota, Mets, and Milwaukee. Red Sox don't particularly hit lefties, so that shouldn't stop that. But they rocked him earlier in the season. I think that was in early June or May, maybe. But it was 9 hits, 5 earned runs, and just 4 and a third innings pitched. So the Red Sox crushed Kikuchi, and Kikuchi's just like so due for a bad start that I could see him screwing me out of this bet. So I went with the safer play, which is I think the Blue Jays are going to hit up Cutter Crawford, especially coming off a day where the bats were silent. Blue Jays team total over is the bet. I like Toronto to win the game too.
So yeah, I do like the over. I played the over as well, but I also played Boston. I played it at 135. I don't know what it's at now.
It's like, let's see where it's at.
Yeah, now I'm really curious to see where it's at.
Plus 150, you can get it.
Okay, even better. So yeah, so I'll be rebetting that Boston. So you know me, I love drinking that dirty water. Toronto absolutely smacked the hell out of Boston last year. 16-3 Toronto was against Boston last year. But guess what they are this year? 0-5. I think Boston remembers that. Maybe baseball is weird. Maybe Boston goes on a run against this Toronto team. I do think Cutter Crawford is better than what he has shown. And the same thing with Berrios yesterday. I know that Boston hadn't been hot, but they've seen Berrios in the past. They've hit him really well. And the same thing with Kikuchi. 2 of the last 3 times they've seen him going back to 2021, they've hit him pretty damn hard. That was in Boston. I understand that's a little bit different, but yeah, at a huge plus price, I'm more than willing to take my chances with Boston.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like Kikuchi's history against Boston. And that Kikuchi's one of those guys that, like, even when he's doing well, you know it's coming eventually. And yeah, so I'm playing the team total over instead of Toronto. Let's move on to the next one. Twins at Orioles. Let me pull up my notes. I'm on the first 5 under here, and I like it. The first 5 under 4.5. That was the bright spot of yesterday. My first 5 totals, I think, went 3-0. And that at least is a sign of because if you remember last year, I was real nice in the first 5 totals. If I just made this channel a first 5 totals channel for my picks for MLB, I would have been up a hell of units. I did really well with these last year, but I started off the season terrible with them. So it was nice to have a good day. So Kyle Bradish has been excellent. Check this out. In his last 5 starts at home, he's got a 1.35 ERA. Opponents are hitting just 153 off him. So in his last 5 starts, at home, he's been basically untouchable. Also, who he pitched against in those 5 starts? Seattle, Toronto, Texas, Angels, and then the Pirates. So a few good opponents in there too. I don't think Minnesota's lineup should be a problem. I mean, that being said, on paper, Dean Kramer should have pitched a good game against the Twins yesterday, and he definitely didn't. But the Twins lineup has been up and down, streaky this whole season, so it's not a shocker that the Twins scored a bunch of runs in a game where they shouldn't have. And it wouldn't be a shocker to see the Twins score a bunch of runs and then get blanked the next day. It's just Twins lineup is just weird like that. I like Kyle Bradish to deal here. I like him to hold the Twins to 2 or less runs in the first 5. On the other side, I like Bailey Ober a lot. He's not only is he having a great season, but more importantly in this spot, he's having a great season on the road. He's got a 2.59 ERA on the road. Opponents are hitting just 195 off him in his road starts. He's also got a couple tough road starts under his belt this season. Went into Dodger Stadium and pitched a great game, and that was back in mid-May before they went cold. He went into Tampa, pitched a good game against the Rays. Bailey Ober's been great this year, and I trust this guy. We just saw Baltimore's lineup do absolutely nothing against Pablo Lopez. So I trust Bailey Ober to come in and put a quality start. I can see the game being 2-2 after 5 innings or 2-1 Baltimore. So first 5 under I like at 4.5.
Yeah, I'm not the complete opposite, but I do like the over 9. I do think that the over 9. I like the way that Minnesota was hitting the ball yesterday. Maybe that there's something about that ballpark that they like. And then on top of that, Baltimore, I just don't expect them to only put up a couple runs yesterday. They've had that lull in their step, I guess, there a few times this week, or the last few times, when they'd score 1 run, and they scored 1 run against Seattle. They came back and scored 6. 1 run against Cincinnati. They came back and scored 7. Not that I'm betting that off of that trend or anything, but I do think that both of these guys are more than capable of giving up runs. Ober has been really, really good for him, but he's kind of been on like a little bit of a steady decline. He was like really, really good, and now he's kind of like more like average 6 innings, 3 runs type of guy.
He was in
Still
Tampa.
really
He was in Tampa. Give him a break.
That was Detroit that I just gave you the line for.
I thought that was the Tampa game you were quoting.
That's okay. I mean, you just made a case of how bad the Boston bats are. I mean, he just lost to Boston as well. So, and Tampa Bay, he went 5 1/3.
Weather was a factor.
Speaking of weather, fantastic weather. Our friends over at Ballpark Pal.
Let me check.
Yeah, our friends over at Ballpark Pal have a plus 31% run factor.
I'm not a
today,
Ballpark Pal guy. You and Prop Beaver masturbate to Ballpark Pal.
I masturbate to Ballpark Pal. Beaver watched me do it one time, and now he does it. So, but no, they do such a good job at that website. I hope everybody knows who they are. But yeah, I'm on the over as well.
Well, to Toast's point, I like the first 5 under, but I hate both of these bullpens. So I honestly think there's a realistic chance we can both cash this. All right, let's move on. Brewers at Pirates. Corbin Burns pitching against Oviedo. I know everyone's looking at the Pirates. A lot of sharp action on the Pirates. I got there with the Brewers. It took me a minute.
Me too. Okay, cool. I got there too. All right.
And when I started capping this game, so usually when I look at the matchup, I have an idea, just looking at the pitchers and the spots. I have an idea of who I want to get to before I start looking at numbers. I did not plan on getting to the Brewers, but it took me there. So you can actually get this at minus 130 right now, which is a little terrifying that the line's moving the other way. But look at all the action. Sharps are hammering the Pirates, so the line's just reacting to the action coming in. So there's nothing to really be alarmed at there. So surprisingly, Corbin Burns has actually struggled a little against the Pirates. Talk about last season too, when the Pirates weren't even that good. Not that they're good this year. In Corbin Burns' last 2 starts against Pittsburgh, he's given up 9 earned runs at 11 1/3 innings of work. I took Milwaukee in the first 5 yesterday because of Freddie Peralta's dominance over the Pirates. It's not the case with Corbin Burns. That being said, I like it here. He's due for a good start against them because if you scroll back before those 2 starts, he's owned this lineup on several occasions. I shouldn't say this lineup. He's owned the Pirates on several occasions.
And that's only going back to 2021. It's not like it's a super long time back.
Exactly. So. And that brings me to my next point is I don't know what to make of the Pirates right now because at quick glance, they've won 4 in a row. They've won 4 in a row. They're averaging over 7 runs a game in those 4. So at quick glance, you're like, okay, Pirates bats have some life right now. But the thing is, they're not doing any damage to starting pitchers. They did get 3 runs off of Peralta last night. But before that, 2 off Musgrove, 0 off Yuri Perez, 0 off Brian Hoeing, 1 off Kyle Hendricks, 0 off Stroman. I have full confidence in Corbin Burns pitching a good game here. They're not touching ready starters like that. Pittsburgh's been doing all their damage off the bullpen. If you remember, I said yesterday, I took Milwaukee first 5, and then I said I'm probably going to live bet the Pirates because the Brewers were missing their 4 best bullpen arms. The Pirates came back and won on the Brewers bullpen. That was, their AAA bullpen. They were missing their 4 best arms. They're all back today. Also the Brewers bullpen has been performing pretty well. So their bullpen is back. The Brewers played last game without a bullpen. By the way,
essentially,
we cast on a Pirates live bet in the chat last night. That was dope. I got it at like plus 330 or something. It was awesome. So
Let's
yeah,
not talk about that though, because there's good vibes in that chat.
yeah, you're right. I don't want to. So the Brewers bullpen, like I said, rested. They've been performing pretty well. And look, I don't really trust the Brewers lineup per se. They got DeVito last night. It's not really a bet on the Brewers lineup. Actually, I could see Oviedo pitching a decent game because he's been pretty good recently. But overall, the Brewers are just a much better team. And at minus 130 with all the action coming in on the Pirates, I'll do it.
I couldn't really say it better myself. I really like the Brewers here today. It looks as a really cool Twitter post to put the Pirates up there and say you're fading Corbin Burns. But the fact of the matter is, like Kassan said, he's really due for a good start. I understand that he hasn't looked good at certain times this year, but I still trust him as one of these guys that I think that you can trust, especially at this type of price. It's one thing to lay 180 or something like that. It's another thing to get them at such a cheap price like this. Sauce touched on the bullpen. Saw a lot of people talking last night. I can't believe Milwaukee blew it. Well, we could, because we tried to tell everybody that they didn't have anybody to help save the game. So, look, the Pirates continue to win. Santana's really hot right now. I think that if you shut Santana down, I don't really think anything else matters. But yeah, so Avito's been really good at Miami when they were in kind of a low, Chicago twice, the Mets once, Oakland once. That's not really murderer's row as far as when it comes to bats either. I do kind of starting to like this Milwaukee offense in a way. Yelich is starting to go a little bit. If some of these kids like Weimer and stuff, I mean, if they get 1 or 2 hits, it really starts turning things around for them. So, and you can see it in their game logs too. It's like 1s and 2s, but then there's 3, 4s, and 7s out there. So, they're getting better. I think they're starting to play with a little bit more confidence. And like I said yesterday, just really quickly, they're fighting for a division. So it's a team that you can count on to make the right moves with their bullpen and stuff like that. And I trust Craig Counsell. So at a cheap price, it's easy with the Brewers for me.
Couldn't agree more. Cesar Gomez, I got your email, but I searched to add you to the Twitter chat. I searched for your name and couldn't find you. Send me a DM on Twitter so I have your account and I will add you. All right, let's move on to the next one. Houston at Texas. I'm letting Toast go first because I know he's going to take Houston. You're taking Houston?
Yes.
Right,
yes.
I'm on Texas.
Yeah, my uncle has like 5 units on Texas spread out.
I like them, and I hate that. Why is everyone betting Texas? Go bet Houston. Give me a better price. Everyone, listen to him. Listen to Toast. Go bet Houston. Get me a better number. Oh, let me see what it's at. Plus 120. You can get it at. That's the best line available right now. So, go. You know what? Here, I'll
go.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, look, first of all, I think that getting the bad guys at this price, them against the world type of shit, is one of the type of spots I like to get them. Is on top of that, I don't love the fact that Texas has already seen Hunter Brown. I understand that he pitched well against them, but I don't think that we can count on him to pitch that well again. He's more than capable of doing it. But at the same time, this is more of a bet on, I think the price is off here because I think that the world forgets that the Astros own Nate Eovaldi. And every time, it just seems like every time in the past 5 years, besides one start last year, the Astros have just absolutely bent this guy over and pimp slapped him. So for me, I will say, like, if you're looking at Astro props, like all the guys that have good history against him too are all over 1.5 total bases at nice plus prices. It's a little worrisome. Texas did get to see some of the guys in the Astros bullpen yesterday, but so did it goes vice versa. But I mean, both those bullpens got worked a little bit yesterday. So just not there laying it with Texas right now. But yeah, I can understand the Texas bet. I'm going to continue to ride my bad guys because they're the team that's kind of got me to where I am today. But yeah, I don't love it. I bet it. But yeah, now that Sauce is big on Texas, it has me a little bit second guessing. I won't lie.
I wouldn't say I'm big on Texas, but I do like it. And I am going to bet it. This isn't a lean or anything. But here's the thing is I don't have the best reasoning for it. Well, first of all, for the odds makers to open this line at minus 145 before any action came in, after what just happened last night and after what they've seen from Houston over the last few days, it's clear that they're taking a stance on Texas. Now, that is not the end-all, be-all. We've seen them take stances on Kansas City as recent as last week. But just from starters, to open the line that way, They like Texas a lot to win the game. Look, Nathan Eovaldi has looked pretty vulnerable recently, and I mean vulnerable for his standards. He's still pitching okay, and he doesn't have the best history against Houston. This isn't really a bet on Eovaldi. This is a bet against Hunter Brown. I hate Hunter Brown in this start. I think he's the prince of Fraud Nation. Look, Hunter Brown has a FIP up near 7 in a couple games this month. I think this dude's just a fade waiting to happen. I don't like him. I don't like the look out of him. I don't think I'll ever bet on him again. He's seriously coming.
This is what happens when you're a Met fan and you pay Justin Verlander. This is what you get. This is what comes out the other end.
I am not a Met fan
here.
like that. I mean, I grew up a Met fan, but I don't give a shit. I will fade the Mets and laugh about it. I don't care. But no, Hunter Brown has the makings of being the next Johnny Cueto. I strongly dislike him, and I'm going to continue to fade him. So yeah, give me Texas. I think Texas is going to smack the shit out of him.
I did not know that you had a hatred for Hunter Brown.
It just grew recently in the last few weeks. Just every time he takes the mound, he lost a bad bet for me. I forget which one it even was. But
the Mets probably, because the Mets slaughtered him.
No, I don't think I backed him in that. I can't remember which one it was, but I've been calling him the Prince of Fraud Nation in the house for a couple weeks now. So this is a fade of him and a fade of the Houston bullpen, which actually performed last night, but as a whole, it hasn't been a reliable unit as of late. So siding with the public. Go to the next one. Washington at Philly. This usually I would never have. I very rarely have a total as one of my favorite bets. I love the over in this one at 8.5. I wanted to get to Washington so bad, and if I had to pick a side, I think we just froze up for a second. Or we're back. So yeah, I'm on the over. I wanted to get to Washington so bad, and if you put a gun to my head, bet aside, it would be Washington. So first of all, the Nats are 5-1 in their last 6. I don't know if you heard. Nationals are winning games. And at plus 185 or 180 or whatever it's at, it's pretty tempting. You add on the fact that this Washington lineup has given Zach Wheeler problems. Check this out. So they scored 7 runs on Wheeler in just 3 2/3 innings of work. That was June 2nd, just 4 weeks ago. So they just got to Wheeler literally 4 weeks ago. Bad. And if you're thinking, well, that was on the road in Washington. This one's at home in Philly, where Wheeler's been better at home. Well, Zach Wheeler's last 3 home starts against Washington, he's 0-3, 3 earned runs, 3 earned runs, 2 earned runs. They've beaten him at home in Philly 3 straight times. Zach Wheeler has not pitched well against this team. Now here's where it gets challenging, because right now you're like, okay, let's bet the Nats. Remember about a month and a half ago, there was a time where you could fade the Phillies bats against lefties and bet them against righties. Those days are in the past, because Phillies have been hitting lefties really well. They're top 10 in basically every single offensive category in the last 14 days. The last lefty starter they saw was Drew Smyly. I bet the Cubs heavy, and we all know the tragic end to that. They hit the shit out of him. So I don't have a ton of hope in Mackenzie Gore at all here. I think the Phillies are going to rock this dude. So I'm just seeing runs, and I don't like either bullpen. I think this total should be 10. And also the Nats are most likely going to be without Hunter Harvey in this game, who's probably, Toast can attest to this, probably been their most reliable arm out of the bullpen over the last few weeks. So Nats missing their best bullpen arm as well, and that's a bullpen that sucks anyway. So I don't like either bullpen. I think both starters get rocked. I think 8.5 is a gift. And the best part, everyone's on the under. Money and tickets all over the under.
Yeah, you just took the words out of my mouth. I kind of leaned under just because I assumed that everybody was going to see that Zach Wheeler has been kind of owned by Washington. But I think that he was due for a nice, good home start. I'm actually on the other side. I like the I want to see. It's a pass for me. I didn't bet this game, but I want to see what Mackenzie Gore does, because I don't know this. He has like a good start, then a bad start, then a good start, then a bad start. I'm really curious what he does here. Back-to-back road starts. He obviously pitched really well in San Diego. That's the team that traded him. Two sauces over his point. There could be like a little bit of an emotional letdown here, and maybe he's not pitching at 100%. But that said, here it's a pass for me. If I had to make a play in this game, I'm actually looking at hit props right now for a lot of them. Trey Turner, Joey Meneses, and Candelario are all pretty good. I was trying to look at and do like Trey Turner and Joey Meneses. It's at like minus 105. I usually like it at like plus 100, but still fiddling with that. But yeah, I'll post it on Twitter.
To answer your comment, he said, would you lock this in, Kyle? To answer your question, yes, I'm betting this, and I would lock it in. That being said, I should preface it by saying from last Friday to Thursday was my worst 7-day period of the MLB season. So I have not been on recently. But yes, if you're asking what I would do, yes, I'm going to bet this. But I feel like I should come clean and be like, I've been getting rocked in the last week. But I mean, that shit happens if you've been betting MLB, especially basketball too. Any sport where you bet every day, you know that like there's some weeks where you get crushed. Like everyone, any experienced sports bettor knows that. Best handicapper in the world will have losing months and shit. It just happens.
Yeah, months. Yeah. Not days, months.
Yeah. It's unavoidable.
It's about perseverance.
Yeah, the most important thing is to not let. I found the most important thing is to not let a losing week or a losing 2-week stretch, because like, yo, it gets to you. You feel like shit. You start questioning everything you're doing. Like, yo, maybe I'm looking at these wrong. But the thing is, this is all a long-term process. So just because you had 2 losing weeks doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the way you're capping games. Shit just happened. Yo, like yesterday, we took Seattle because we thought McClanahan was going to get hit. He got rocked. He got knocked out after 3 innings. Like we had it. And then like Seattle, Munoz blows it. He's like, he's an awesome reliever. Like,
I know.
What I'm saying is the chances, like, that's some crazy shit. Shit happens in sports. Can't let it get to you.
And what happens too is that a lot of bettors that aren't super experienced, they'll have a losing week and then they won't take those dogs because they had a bad week with them. But the whole reason you're taking those dogs is because you're telling everybody, well, I know if I keep on betting and it's going to win. Well, if you stop betting them, because you're afraid because you haven't been hitting them, that defeats the whole purpose of betting them.
Yeah, right.
People get scared away of it. You can't bet not to lose. You got to bet your bets.
Right. They're like, oh, I need a winning day. I need to play it safe. Yeah, and then they go over to the favorites.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Sorry for that rant, guys. I've been getting killed the last week, so I'm just venting. Oh my God. Welcome to the hardest pass. Actually, you know what? I did write down White Sox minus 1.5 or pass. So it shouldn't be. Yesterday, I passed hard on this game. But I will. I like the way Cease has been pitching. I don't know how pumped he'll be for this matchup. But yeah, I had Oakland against righties, and the thing is, James Cap's on the mound, and it's my boy, so I probably not going to bet this.
I did. I literally for a quarter unit, I did Mets first 5, Chicago first 5, both money lines on a parlay at plus 150.
Chicago White Sox. My bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I just did that. Verlander and Cease. Cease on the road against Oakland. After Oakland kind of got. Or smashed them last night. I don't even Chicago
know who won that game. It was 4-1 Oakland. I saw. I didn't bet it.
I'm pretty sure Oakland won. I think Robert hit a home run late that I saw, but I'm almost positive.
That's Oakland how little won. I give a shit about this series. I don't even know who won last night.
Yeah, it's
7-4 Oakland.
Yeah, so I expect them to bounce back, and then the Mets. Not going to put a lot of money into it, that's for sure. But I do think Verlander at home is a nice little advantage. So to get this little parlay at like plus 150 to sprinkle it, I'm all right with that.
All right. Marlins at Braves. I fucked up. So what I do is I go through the graphics right before we go live, and I realize I completely skipped over this game. So I haven't even looked at it yet. That's part of the reason the VIP isn't posted, because I left off an entire game. So hopefully Toast has a cap on it. I got nothing. I didn't even look at it.
Of course I got a cap on it.
Of course I got a cap on it.
Marlins, first 5. Marlins, full game, first 5. I got it at 130.
Yo, you hate that team, bro.
It's not even that, dude. They keep on playing teams. I didn't bet them every game against the.
No, you haven't been fading them that much recently.
No, I bet them twice against the Twins, and Joe Ryan was supposedly tipping pitches. Like, so what? Like, it is what it is. It's really not a big deal. People think that I'm like, because the Braves have been winning games, that I'm like down a whole bunch of money because like it's impossible to make money betting the Braves, which is whatever. That's a fallacy in itself. But anyway. So 135, 145, whatever it is. Look, Yuri Perez has been really, really good for the Fish. I actually think that we're going to get him probably at his probably at his best right now because they're talking about shutting him down for the season, which really sucks. But they're trying to protect their investment. This kid is 20 years old or whatever. This is a lot of work for that arm. So I expect him to be shut down. You're not going to see him in the playoffs. I can almost guarantee that.
This ain't going to be in the playoffs. They're about to collapse.
Okay. So that was unnecessary. And I said this many times on this show before. Charlie Morton does have pretty decent numbers at Miami, but I don't want him on a Saturday afternoon. I want him like game 4 of the ALCS. So yeah, for me, he didn't look that good against Colorado. He didn't look good against the Mets. He didn't look good against the Dodgers. He looked all right against Philly. And keep in mind, this Miami team continues to find ways to win games. I understand the reason I said don't play their money line yesterday and play their team total at 4, which pushed, by the way, didn't lose money there. They didn't have any of their bullpen arms. Well, guess what? They're all back today. So if the Braves score another 16 runs, so be it. But I'm more than willing to take my chances with this kid on the mound and a bullpen behind him and a lineup that continues to score enough to win. And again, Jazz Chisholm over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -105. Hit his total bases yesterday. Jazz is back, baby. Jazz is back.
The comments accused us of being Braves haters and Marlins haters in the same candy cat.
I'm like the biggest Marlins fan.
No, they were talking to me. That was directed at me.
Oh.
I think what happened was, like Toast's first serious girlfriend, maybe in his early 20s, was from Atlanta or a Braves fan, and she broke his heart. And ever since then, he just hates the organization. I want to pay attention to see if I bet the Falcons, if he'll tail it, or like University of Georgia, or if it's like his whole state thing. I'm curious.
Yeah, I bet Georgia for the title game or whatever. Go Dogs!
All right, let's move on to the next one. Giants at Mets. Jesus.
I hate my life.
Can we just cut the stream off? Like,
because since I've became friends with Kyle over the last couple of years and stuff, I have this growing affection for the Mets. And over the last 2 years, I don't want to pretend like I understand what it's like over the last 20, but Jesus, it's a lot. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot to be a Mets fan. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Where do you start?
I mean, it's like Verlander at -148 should be an auto.
Yeah,
bet.
do I lean the Mets? Yes. Would I bet the Mets if they haven't? If I didn't know that they were just can't get out of their own goddamn way? Yes. So I bet that small first 5 money line parlay for literally a quarter of a unit. That was it. I don't want to get involved in here. I do expect the Mets to win today, but they'll figure out a way to blow it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, what I really want to type on the screen is Mets or pass, but I don't even want to have Mets next to my face on here. So, like, let's move on.
The Giants, and the Mets saw 4 of the top 5 bullpen arms for the Giants yesterday. So there's a lot of signs pointing towards the Mets. There's also 50 million reasons not to bet the Mets. So
Lauren Beebe says you can always quit your job and sell your bathwater. All right, Dodgers at Royals.
This is my job. You guys want me to quit?
Dodgers at Royals. Okay, so I'm putting Dodgers -1.5 up.
Dude, oh my God. When you said sell basalt, I just saw a video of this lady that sold her pictures of her mom's feet and she didn't know it and bought her a car.
Dude, some of those, the foot fetish, there's like a serious market for that.
I had no idea.
I know.
I have no idea what's going on in the world. I live in a bubble. I was dying.
I know a couple girls who made a fortune doing that. Like, not even like playing around, like real money.
That is awesome. That is so awesome.
All right, so the -1.5 at -140, which sucks, but I'm still gonna do it. It'll be a small bet. Maybe I'll parlay it with something, to be honest. Usually I have my final decisions by now, but Saturdays suck because some of these games aren't for hours. So I'd be lying if I said I'm not a little bit worried about Urias making his first start back from injury. He did make one rehab start last week, pitched 4 innings. The good news, so he pitched 4 innings in AAA. The good news is he's pitching against Kansas City's lineup, and with their current injuries, is it that much of a jump from a AAA lineup to the Kansas City Royals? Like, I don't even think it is. So his competition stays about level. That's a joke. Obviously, they're in the major leagues, but as you would expect, the Royals in the last 14 days pretty much bottom 3 in every offensive category against lefties. I would never bank on a guy coming back from injury and throwing a gem. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Orioles takes the mound and deals against this lineup like he never even left. On the other side, Daniel Lynch is pitching, and I actually like Daniel Lynch. He's coming off back-to-back great starts, for real. The last one was on the road in Tampa, too, which is a nightmare spot for a lefty. Pitched great. I will say, though, those 2 starts that I'm talking about, his last 2 starts, both on the road, his last 2 starts at home, not great. He got rocked for 7 runs by the Reds. And even the Colorado Rockies scored 3 runs on him at home. Rockies haven't touched lefty starters this whole year. So to give up 3 runs to the Rockies at home is concerning. This is the Dodgers. Want to know what that happened to the last lefty to pitch against the Dodgers? His name's Kyle Freeland, and he still hasn't recovered. 11 base runners and 6 runs in just 5 innings. Kansas City's also missing a couple long relievers, too, so they really need Lynch to go 5 or 6 innings, so they might be forced to keep him out there through a couple situations where they normally wouldn't, where they normally would pull him out. So Dodgers minus 1.5. Dodgers in a comfortable one here.
Yeah. Should have played it last night. I'm not going to not play it today. With the juice, it would not. Urias is just a guy that I trust. Just kind of like Michael Wacha. Like going back, I know this is a different game, but Sauce talked about how good Michael Wacha's been over the last 2 years. He's like 18-4. Like the dude has just been completely solid. Urias is the same way. He's like 23-11 or something like that. And a lot of those losses have came this year. He just hadn't been himself. But I would assume they would again. The Dodgers are another one of those teams that can't afford to lose another arm, so he wouldn't be out there unless he was 100% ready to go. I know Sauce was making a joke about the AAA lineup for the Royals, but it's really not that far of a stretch.
With their injuries, right? With the injuries.
With the injuries, the guys that are on the field for the Royals, if you put them on the 29 other rosters, they're probably most of them aren't going to make it. So it's not that big of a stretch to say that. It just is what it is. What you're dealing with in Kansas City right now. The Astros did that, and then look at them now. So, but yeah, it's an easy one for me. It's the Dodgers. Yeah, I don't really need to keep on going about it.
All right, so I mean, are you with me on the minus 1.5?
Oh yeah, sorry, I thought I said that. My bad.
You might have in the beginning. I was reading some of the comments. There was somebody in there that said Royals money line, so I was like, who is this man with stones of steel?
I mean, it's not. I wouldn't like say it's crazy, especially at that price.
I think this is a little crazy against Urias when they're not touching lefties. Trust me, I'm down to get down on a dog.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, if there's a time to take it, I mean, I guess it would be against a guy that hasn't seen
that could be
league action. I guess. I don't know.
Let's move on to a better game. Rays at Mariners. I'm very curious to see where you're going with this, Toast.
Right back to him. Damn it.
Shit. So let's see what the best odds are. So if you can get a plus 104. Mine's actually Seattle or pass, to be honest. So I'm not quite committing like Toast is.
I bet it right before the show.
All right. I'll tell you. I'll go with you. Do you want to give my reasoning first? Or you want to go first?
I'll go. Okay. Kirby hasn't really been. I used to say that he was a bet on pitcher for me. He hasn't looked. I don't even want to say that he's looked horrible. He's been unfortunate a little bit. The Padres got to him. But he went 7 innings against New York, only gave up 3 runs. I don't consider that a bad start. They did lose, but I don't consider that a bad start.
No, he wasn't bad.
No. His last 2 starts at home, Miami, who is a very solid team, as we know. He went 6 innings, struck out 10, didn't give up any runs, or he gave up 1 run. I think it wasn't earned. And then he pitched 8 innings, shutout ball against the Yankees after getting lit up by the Pirates. So Kirby's a bet on pitcher for me. Still at this point, I understand that he hasn't looked good, but I still think that you can get, especially getting him, when I say bet on pitcher, I'm looking to bet him every time he's out. It doesn't mean it's going to happen every single time. But again, I think with the fact that we're getting this at plus money, I know that everybody's going to like the race in this spot, I would assume again. But I don't know if I really trust Glasnow right now. He looked good against Kansas City, but he didn't look good against Baltimore or Oakland. Texas he was all right as well, but I don't know. Seattle was able to see a lot of the Tampa Bay bullpen last night as well. McClanahan went out early. I don't know. I hate it, but I have to do it. It's Seattle for me.
Yeah, he kind of covered a lot of what I was going to say. Basically, what he said about Glass now is I don't trust him, and we're dealing with a small sample size, not just because, and I'm not talking about just specifically this season. Keep in mind, this dude barely pitched last season. We're talking about a dude who missed 2 years, and since he's been back, if you know how in my other videos I always display, especially with starting pitchers, I always display the data on like a timeline line chart, right? It's because you're trying to zero in on an area, like, okay, we can handicap him here in between 4 runs and 6 runs per 9 innings. His chart is small because there's not a lot of sample size, and it goes like this. It's like the craziest amount of variance. His ceiling is so high. He can pitch like would anyone be surprised if Tyler Glasnow's in the Cy Young talk next year? I mean, he has that high of a ceiling, but also we've seen him look terrible and really struggle with his command. I don't know. I think Seattle would be the play for me.
And Kirby faced this Tampa Bay team last year at home. He went 6 innings and didn't give up a run, struck out 7, didn't walk anybody. Only 4 hits. Sorry, forgot that part.
Oh, what's his name? Lauren Beebe just said that.
Oh, he did?
He didn't pitch well, but he doesn't walk anybody. She literally just said that. All right, let's move on to the next one because I mean, I'll probably the fact that Toast is on Seattle too, I'll tail it. But as far as my ticket, it's a toss up right now. Cleveland at Cubs. I think the public's got this one right. I'm gonna take the Cubbies and lay the juice, and I know that sounds crazy.
I'm doing it too. We just saw that. Yeah, we just saw him 2 days ago do the same damn thing. I played the first 5 run line because it was at plus money as well with Stroman on a bounce back. But yeah, we just saw it with the Cubs. They were crazy heavy favorites, heavy public side the other day. So go ahead.
Exactly. Okay, so first of all, let's start. I like Tanner Bybee. I've spoken highly of him on this YouTube channel several times this year. That being said, his home away splits are terrifying. He's a beast at home in Cleveland with a 2.38 ERA. Jumps to a 5.68 on the road, and it's not improving. His last 3 road starts, he got hit up in Arizona. He got hit up in San Diego. He even got hit up a bit in Minnesota. I don't know how we could possibly trust Tanner Bybee to go into Wrigley Field and pitch a good game right now. Have you seen what this Cubs lineup has been doing to righty starters? 7 off Wainwright, 4 off Aaron Nola. They've been hitting righties well for the last 2 weeks. Now, I know you're going to point to the Taijuan Walker start. I watched that entire game because Cubs was one of my top bets. They were hitting the ball hard. It was just going right to outfielders. Taijuan Walker didn't pitch nearly as well as his numbers indicate in that game. And then they just scored 6 runs off Cal Quantrill yesterday. I like Tanner Bybee a lot. I think he's got a great career ahead of him, but he doesn't have it on the road right now, and he's walking into, if you're a righty starter right now in the MLB, one of the toughest ballparks to pitch in, based on how they've performed in the last couple weeks. And by the way, Marcus Stroman's pitching on the other side. Dude's been a savage this year. He's coming off his first bad start since May 14th. It was like 8 starts ago was the last time he had a bad start. And by the way, the bad start we're referring to was in London. Who gives a shit? That game shouldn't even count. They shouldn't even play that. Now, both of these bullpens are good as shit right now, so if you don't, if you're the type of person that doesn't like to take the public side, I would go under. If I'm not betting the under, I'm saying if my second favorite bet would either be an under or a Cleveland team total under, because I like both these bullpens, but I like the Cubs to win the game. I think I like the Cubs to be up after 5 innings as well.
Yeah. Cubs have been public a few times, and they've continued to cash, so it's really not a worry for me. We're getting Stroman off of bad start for him in London, like you said. It's just kind of hard to put a whole bunch into that one. But yeah, Bybee's on the road. It's kind of a bit of a fade for me. I just think it's too cheap here. Public can win sometimes. It is what it is. So hold your nose and just hope that you're right.
And it's not like, as far as talk, if you're one of the people hesitant to bet the public side, it's not like the books. Not like this is a suspect line. Cubs are a below 500 team, and Cleveland's in first place, and they're minus 140 favorite. So it's not like this is a suspect line. They have it juiced properly, if you understand what I mean by that. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Tigers and Rockies. as of like 45 minutes ago, there was no line open for this game. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
No, I don't even know what's going on. I mean, I was going to say, I saw that they had listed pictures kind of, and then I didn't even know if that was going to be like if they were going to change it or whatever. I didn't even look to see. So
do you remember Logue on Oakland last year? Me and Beaver were talking about this yesterday. Yeah, so Prop Beaver did these graphics last night before he left, and you can see he put Logan and Lambert. I'm guessing the reason there's no line open is because both of those names are toss-ups. Me and Toast, maybe we'll put bets out in the Twitter chat when we find out who's pitching and some lines get open.
And then I already see that block is starting now for Colorado.
So it's already changed in the last hour.
I mean, but that's, again, I don't know if that's even real.
Yeah. So let's skip it. Which brings us to our last game. Arizona at Angels. Oh man, I Toast isn't gonna like this one. I'm on the Angels.
So am I.
Are you really? You're fading your stupid ass Snakes?
They're not against. It's not a righty. It's a lefty.
Okay.
Huge difference.
Well, actually,
huge difference.
That covers some of my notes, actually. But all right. So in the beginning, this started as a lean. I'm fully on them now. I wouldn't say it's one of my top bets or anything, but I am going to bet the Angels here. I know Tyler Anderson is a bit scary. Trust me, he's let us down. I think I lost 3 bets already on Tyler Anderson this year, and I think
Sauce loves Tyler Anderson.
I'm a Tyler Anderson apologist. I think I've won 1 bet on Tyler Anderson and lost 3, so I've 1 in 3 back, and I'm on the year. That being said, this is kind of crazy. The little amount of left-handed pitching that Arizona has seen. You ready for that? Oh shit! Just knocked all my shit off my desk. Anyway, so you ready for this? The last time Arizona saw a lefty starter was June 14th. We're talking 2.5 weeks ago since they've seen a single lefty starter. 2.5 weeks ago, that lefty starter that they saw 2.5 weeks ago was Ranger Suarez. Dude threw 7 shutout innings against them. Ranger Suarez is also red hot. Keep in mind. Listen to this. So not only are they not seeing lefty starters, they're not even seeing lefties out of the bullpen. This is crazy. In the last 14 days, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the entire team combined, has only 40 total plate appearances against left-handed pitching. That's in the last 14 days. That's 12 or 13 baseball games, only 40 total at-bats against lefties. And by the way, you want to know what their numbers are against lefties in those 40 at-bats? Dead last. They're 44 WRC plus. They're hitting just 194 as a team against lefties in the last 2 weeks. Granted, 40 plate appearances is a small sample size, but it's the combination of they haven't hit lefties at all, and they haven't seen lefties at all in a while. So the combination of those two things lead me to believe that I think Tyler Anderson at home could pitch a good game here. Granted, I thought Griffin Canning was going to pitch a good game last night. Just want to preface it with that. Look, I know it's Ryan Nelson on the road, and those of you that like looking at splits, you're going to see that Ryan Nelson has good numbers on the road. So you might like him in this spot. That being said, the Angels lineup against right-handed pitching is just such a consistent force this season. The last few righties to pitch against the Angels, 5 runs on Lance Lynn, 4 on Giolito, 2 runs on Kopech, but that was only through 4 innings. I can't get behind Ryan Nelson. I think the Angels hit the shit out of him. And on the fact that it's looking like Arizona's going to be a public dog. Now, this game doesn't start for another 10 hours. So there's a couple, I usually don't like to place bets this early. I'd like to see what the line does throughout the afternoon, but it's looking like people are going to be on Arizona too. I'll take the Angels money line.
Yeah, you pretty much said it for me. Like I said, I love the Snakes. I was all over them. It was one of my favorite plays last night at such a huge price. But against left, I literally spent probably 15 to 20 minutes last night making sure that I wasn't doing something wrong because there was so lack of data against their left-handed pitching. I was like, man, am I missing something?
Yeah, right.
Here? Like,
what's going on?
Do I have these dates wrong? But like Saw said it perfectly. The combination of them not hitting lefties well. I mean, they go from a top 5 offense in righties to middle of the pack. I'm just talking about in general, but over the last month and so, they get it even worse. So it's just really hard to back them. Angels have been up and down at times, but they do have the hottest player on the planet right now in Shohei Ohtani, who hit another bomb last night. Holy cow. Just lucky to watch that guy play baseball every single day. What do you think, Sauce?
He's an overrated, above average player.
I went on that soliloquy just for him.
But the disrespect people give towards position players. there'll be a thread about Ohtani, like, what is this like? And it's like, well, it's never been done before because no one's ever played offense and defense. Like, well, they all do. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I don't know.
Last thing is Angels have all their guys in the bullpen. They haven't been performing that great, but they do got all their main guys available, rested and ready to go. That didn't work last night. Arizona had 4 guys go pitch last night. So there's a little bit of freshness in those Angels' eyes. So I'll take my chances at a nice price with the Angels.
Yeah, and I didn't make that up, by the way. That was a real comment in the thread. Someone said the thread was, Ohtani, has anyone ever done this before? And it listed some stuff. Like about his season, which is incredible what he's doing. And someone goes, no one's ever played offense and defense, a capital and it got like 300 likes. Like, what?
There's I mean, I know that you're not talking. I know that guy or whatever, but there's something to be said about the WAR talk, like how his WAR is so good and stuff like that. Would it go down if he actually played in the field every day compared to somebody that just like stood in the field? It's just one of those things where it's just certain numbers and stuff. I get it.
Yeah, look how triggered this guy is in the comments. I'm playing, you moron. Overrated. All right. So anyway. All right. So now we go to a new segment. Check. I don't even know if this is gonna work. See if this graphic comes up. I don't even know if they're seeing it. Underdog 6-time pick'em of the day. By the way, this is sponsored by Underdog. I just partnered with them as of yesterday. I've talked to a lot of these companies, and the people at Underdog just really seem more aligned. And I don't want to say anything negative about anyone else. Everyone I talked to was nice from all the other ones, but I was always focused on the content and growing more than selling. And the people in Underdog just seemed exactly like they completely understood what I was saying and more aligned with me. So, so I'm going to be giving out 3 of these. I don't have like the graphics set up for it. Like I said, this is brand new. But my 3 picks for this are... Oh, actually, I don't have to type it. I made a thing. I'm sorry. Right here. So, Rafael Devers, lower than 1.5 hits, hard runs, and RBIs. Joey Gallo to not record a hit. He has terrible splits in that game. And then Johan Oviedo, 6+ strikeouts. Oh, you know what? I should probably put a link so you can go bet that in there. See, that's how you can tell. I don't do this often. So I'll put the link in the comments in case someone wants to go get that. Here it is right here. Also, you could sign up and use the promo code BETS and you get $100 free. There you go. Now, let's get to the community parlay. Feel bad I called that guy a moron. But you know what? He says dickhead shit to me all the time. All right, ready?
You should hear the things that Saw says about Ohtani in private. Despicable.
All right. All right, so sorry about that. Let me just set the screens up. I need like 3 windows open to do these. All right, so let's start with some Padres. No, let's go Reds money line. I think people would rather see the Reds on there. Cardinals money line. No, I'm not doing the doubleheader in there. You think people would like the Red Sox or Blue Jays? Probably Blue Jays more.
Mm-hmm.
Orioles.
Brewers.
Let's start with those 4. All right, first leg. You know how it works. Well, if you don't know how it works, 4 polls, the highest getting vote team of each poll, and gets entered into the community parlay that we all collectively place. We haven't hit one in like 5 or 6 days now. We're due. We need one.
Mm-hmm.
He said Sauce was wronged by a girl from Japan. No. To sum up how I really feel, when I say Ohtani's trash, like or overrated, I'm making a joke. Obviously, he's probably the best player in baseball right now. I'm just saying it's the idea that he has because he pitches and hits, and it's just so new. People are just ejaculating in their pants about it. When it's like, okay, why don't you just take it's basically like, so I guess MVP candidate that's a Gold Glover is now shit, because his defense means nothing. But I mean that sums up the casual sports fan, because people wanted Ja Morant to be in MVP talks. He doesn't even play defense, so it shows you defense is just not valued.
I do think it sucks. I do wish that the other players, say Mookie Betts, who's the best right fielder in baseball and now plays shortstop and second base, and nobody talks about it. That's fucking easy. That's the stuff I wish that more people knew.
Well, defense as a whole is never going to get the press. All right, so the first leg is Reds. Since he made it, man, people love those Reds.
How can you not?
I mean, I bet the Padres yesterday, and my own VIP chat was rooting for the Reds. the VIP chat is called Sauce VIP chat, and everyone in it was rooting for the Reds. I was like, damn, this is a fan favorite team. All right.
They really remind me of the Orioles last year, where you're going to continue to probably get good prices, and they're just, you can just throw the numbers out the window. When Ashcraft did the Shoto Shuffle, I lost it.
Oh, I saw you sent the link to it. I didn't actually.
He should not be Shoto shuffling, but
props to him. He pitched a good game.
He did, but you can't get rocked for 2 months and then strike out Soto, who's not even playing well, and then do a Soto shuffle. In my opinion, that's not the time. But
Lauren BB, Ja Morant was a bad example. I just picked a random person. How the NBA MVP, if it was truly the MVP, should never be somebody who plays no defense, because they're not truly the most valuable player. I love Steph Curry, but I mean the man plays 50% of the game. If there was an offensive player of the year, Steph should probably win it every year. It's just the name's MVP should be changed then.
I really want to see what Ellie De La Cruz turns out.
Did you see Tatis gun him though?
Yeah, dude, that's you don't run on El Nino. I
Did you see him,
that,
and he holstered it he holstered his arm like a weapon. That was sick. All right, Braves money line, second line. They don't like your fish pick, Toast.
So what?
All right.
I've been fighting with the fish for a long time. They're finally somewhat decent too.
You have been repping them for 2 years. Let's put the Giants money line, because it seems like everyone wanted to fade the Mets. Dodgers money line, because it's the Royals.
Rays
money line, I'm sure people like. And Cubs money line. See if people like our Cubs pick. I don't know.
Cubs line keeps dropping. You can get it at 127 at some books.
Yeah, how is that dropping? I mean, that's scary.
I don't know.
But that was when, how I said, when I start to cap a game, I have a team that I want. I wanted to get to Cleveland. I just couldn't.
I wanted to get to Cleveland yesterday. I'm glad I didn't.
What team does Toast support? I mean, when you start doing this for a living, it's hard to have a favorite team.
I have a couple teams. I really like the Padres. The Padres are my favorite team. They're my son's favorite team.
Oh, they look good recently, bro.
We go, and that's where our family goes to watch the baseball games and stuff. I love the Fish. I watch almost every Fish game. Padres and Fish, I watch every game. I watch usually both New York teams, because from being on the West Coast and now here and being in New York, it's still like a movie. Even when I go to Kyle's house and stuff, it's like a movie for me. It's just weird. I'm just not used to being on that East Coast. So I try to watch the New York teams, and I watch the Reds a lot too. But yeah, I also just really, really like baseball. So any excuse I can get to watch a team almost daily, I do. So, but Fish and Padres for the most part.
I grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan, but it's tough. Dude, other Cowboys fans have made me almost root against the Cowboys at times. It's tough. They're a tough bunch. I'm a Cowboys fan that wants to see us rebuild, though. I would like to see us, for once, not try to win now and actually put together a foundation. We did it for once, and it worked. We did it like 8, 9, 10 years ago. We opened up a window. Romo got hurt. Whatever. Shit happens. But instead of trying to stretch that window open and keep extending these contracts, rebuild. Take a couple years, build a new foundation. That's what I'd love to see Dallas do. But
I did like the Yankees a lot when I was younger, because it was just like they were like bigger than life. You got to watch the Yes Network and all that. I don't know. Just felt like, but when you're from the West Coast and stuff, it's just different. Like New York's just like a different place. It's like I said, it's just like a movie. So a lot of New York love for me.
Someone said your picks are cool, but fix the Twitter problem. I didn't even know there was one. I've been live for like an hour. I haven't been on Twitter. And Cubs are the last leg.
What's the problem with Twitter?
I don't know. I saw a couple comments. Apparently, Twitter's having problems right now. Probably Elon.
Like Twitter in general.
Elon Musk on another bender.
Oh, I thought they were talking about your specific Twitter.
Oh, shit. I hope they're not talking about mine.
I don't know. That's what I was saying.
What's the odds on this? Do you have the sports book open?
Shit. Sorry. No, I was talking. Reds, Dodgers, Cubs.
Reds, Braves, Dodgers, Cubs.
Dodgers, Cubs. There it is. Reds, Braves, Dodgers, Cubs. Parlay it. 820.
Plus 820. So there's a community parlay. And to answer the comment, kind of confused when people have other teams' jersey and hats on. I host a sports show for a living. So, yeah. I saw it's just my attire for the show.
I have a hat for probably 3/4 of the teams. I have a shirt for 3/4 of the teams. I was wearing a Ponytail Gang White Sox shirt yesterday with Kimbrel and all those guys. Kopech.
Hold on. They're saying my Twitter. I don't see anything wrong with my Twitter.
It says Twitter in general is down.
Oh.
Thanks, Craig Williams.
All right, so that's the community parlay. I got to piss. It's Reds money line, Braves money line, Dodgers money line, Cubs money line. Thanks for watching. I'll be back at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern. Toast.
I'll come.
All right,
cool. I ain't gonna leave you hanging.
Probably be the two of us. It's tough to get somebody on a Sunday, man.
That's why I'll be there.
All right, everyone, have a good day. Remember to bet responsibly. It's time for me to snap out. This week was terrible. It ends today. Everyone have a good one. I'll talk to you on Twitter.
You guys, Mom.